Broncos country. Let's give it a minute for the entire family to join.
We're good.
All righty, and we are live. Welcome in, everyone, to another installment of the Orange and Blue View. I'm co-host Ron White. On that side is my partner in crime, Thomas Hall. And hopefully everyone had a great Christmas holiday. I know I did. I'm ready for the new year. Getting very cold here in, in Georgia, but all is good. How about you, Thomas? How are you doing on this lovely Saturday?
Good. Yep. I'm preparing for New Year's Eve. Not that I'm going to do anything, but getting ready for New Year's and ringing in 2024, and kind of dusting off 2023 and moving on. So it's good. Had good holidays. I'm a little disappointed in that the Broncos didn't win on Christmas Eve, so they're kind of pretty much out of the playoff race at this point. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into what has transpired with the Christmas Eve game and all the drama surrounding Russell Wilson this week. But let's welcome in some of the folks here. We got David Yonkin coming in here. Thank you, David. We appreciate you, my man. He says the players to watch are Stidham, Jerry Judy, Marvin Mims, and the offensive line. He's curious on how this team comes together after all of the BS. Yes, you are right, David. Those are a few players to really look at during this game. And we'll get into a few of these players as we go into more detail with some of the players to watch and the matchups. But it is going to be interesting, Thomas, just to see how this offense functions with new life under center with Stidham. Some speculate, with the drama happening this week, Russell Wilson, part of the reason for the benching. Obviously, we know it's been reported as it being financial, right, with that injury portion in the clause. But some also argue that performance related, especially with the loss on Christmas Eve to New England, didn't help matter as much. But with that, it's going to be interesting to see what Stidham does, as far as his football acumen and throwing balls in the middle of the field. We've seen in the preseason how he was able to kind of operate and command the offense. Although there were times that, you scratch your head with Stidham, but it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. And you're right, David, with the rest of the moving parts here, the offensive line, and if we can get Jerry Judy and Marvin Mims involved with this new life under center.
It'll be interesting to see if Sean Payton wants to try and showcase Stidham more than he would normally. Because, there's obviously a lot of talk about, the reason why Russell Wilson was benched is Sean Payton going to try and make it the Stidham show, kind of thing. That's what I'm interested to see. Is he going to try and say, I told you, everybody, Stidham is the person that we should have went with, kind of thing. Yeah. But it'll be interesting, I'm sure, once we see how the events unfold during game day.
Yes. And then we got Thomas coming in here. Thank you, Thomas. He says, we need to win this Sunday. Yeah, I mean, given how the past few weeks have went down, Thomas, a win this Sunday would be great. Just for, the team moving forward. I know the playoff chances now it's not happening, as we know, because that they should have taken care of business on Christmas Eve. But, just to kind of get the team spirits up, you're going against an inferior opponent. There shouldn't be, any excuses for the Broncos not to win Sunday, but any given Sunday, as I always say, you just never know. But a win this Sunday would definitely be nice moving forward. And depending on, again, I know that playoff window that door is kind of almost closed, although it's still a little ajar. Depending on how some of these other scenarios play out, they could sneak in. But again, it's going to be a very small chance. But yeah, a win Sunday would be nice.
And at this point, they're probably not going to the playoffs, but it would be nice for Broncos country to see a winning season for the first time in a long time. And I know it probably doesn't help their draft position and all that other stuff, but just to have a winning season for the first time in nearly a decade would be good. It would just be nice for Broncos fans in
For a
general.
change. Yes, most definitely. I agree with that. And then we got Turtle4614 coming in. Thank you. He says, Go Broncos. Yes, go Broncos. Thank you for coming in. And then we got Dominic Martin coming in. Thank you, Dominic. We appreciate you. Mile high salute to my Broncos family. I won't be able to watch due to work tonight. It's okay. I understand. Work has to call. Have a great show, guys. Good luck to Stidham. Judy may be a major target. Can he capitalize? MHH for life. Go Broncos. So yeah, Thomas, I guess we can maybe get into, kind of speaking of Jerry Judy here. I guess what are your thoughts there as far as maybe Jerry Judy being a centerpiece for this offense? We know that Stidham has a little bit more, he can kind of read through some of the regressions. I know he goes to some of those other receivers that Russ may not. So this could definitely be a big day for Jerry Judy. What do you think there?
It could be if he plays. I mean, he didn't participate on Friday because of a sickness.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, they're pretty low on wide receivers, so somebody's going to have to step up, right? Jerry Judy. It'll be interesting to see, to me, how Stidham and Jerry Judy what their chemistry is together. Now, it's hard to say because they haven't, obviously they probably haven't taken a lot of snaps together, but will Stidham be able to see Judy sooner and get him the ball? And that's going to be an interesting thing, because this is how it's all going to play out, right? Like, was the benching of Russell Wilson the catalyst to get wins or to involve the passing game in a different way that Sean Payton likes? That'll be the interesting part to see. I don't, my feelings on Stidham. I didn't care for him in camp. I didn't think he'd play very well in camp. He played okay in preseason, a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see if he actually can make this offense go a little bit better. I have my doubts, but we'll see. We will see. That's what we're going to showcase. And it has to be Jerry Judy has to be a big part of that, right? Like, if they really want to make this offense go, Jerry Judy has to be a bigger part of this offense. It really doesn't matter who's throwing the ball, but especially with Stidham throwing the ball.
Yep, all good points. And this is a great question and comment here, Dominic. And yeah, we have to wish them good luck. We have to wish him well with this Broncos team. And if Jerry Judy does play and suit up, yeah, he has to be a major part. He has to be the one that steps up, with Sutton being out. So, we're looking for maybe Jerry Judy to have, again, if he plays, more targets here with Stidham. And not just Jerry Judy. I mean, we're looking at some of these other players to come in as well and step up. I think it was mentioned about Mims as well, and Lil Jordan Humphrey. So some of these other wide receivers are going to definitely have to step up with the absence of Cortland Sutton. But I do expect Jerry Judy to be a focal point from the wide receiver position for an offense.
Well, and they're calling up 2 practice squatters, right? I mean, Dorsett, I think, is called up, and I can't, the blanket on the other name. I'll look it up, but yeah, they're calling up other players. They're low on wide receivers, so it's gonna, if Jerry Judy can play, if he gets better from whatever the flu or whatever's going around, and he can play, he's going to be the best wide receiver on the field, technically. I mean, from his draft status and whatnot. We'll just see if he can actually do anything.
Yep. And we got Woofy Malott coming in here. Thank you. Says, hello, Broncos country. Hello to you as well, man. Good having you in here. And then we got Papa Bear, David McKilleraff coming in. Thank you, my man, as always, for coming in. David says, Happy New Year and a mile-high salute to Broncos country. Tom, Ron, Dylan, and Deacon Scott. Hashtag 9 and 8. Hashtag Buckham times 3. Hashtag MHH for life. Hashtag Denver Broncos for life. Thank you, David, as always, for coming in. And yeah, not 9 and 8. I know we had to temper that record a bit, but let's see how the season ends. Let's see how it ends. 9 and 8 can happen, and we'll see what goes from there. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, Michael's coming in. Michael Ronquillo, as always, thank you for being here. Michael coming with
Thank
Facebook stars. Really appreciate it. Saying good evening,
you,
Thomas and Ron on Orange and Blue View. Go Broncos. Thanks for being here, Michael. Appreciate it.
Michael. Yes. Yeah. And then we got Casey Nickel coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Casey. Says, I look forward to Saturdays for when y'all are on. Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. I got a sneaky feeling Denver is about to drop 30 points and Judy over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay. Nice
Wow.
little stat projection there. I like it. I like it. Okay. Nice. Well, with this banged up Chargers team, and again, if Stidham can, again, I'm not saying Stidham is a world beater, but if he can go and be efficient with this offense, I mean, it can happen. If he can run Sean Payton's offense as it should be executed, then that can happen. The 30 points, maybe not 30 plus, but close to it, somewhere in the high 20s. And again, if Jerry Judy is that focal point, and if he hits Jerry Judy often, 100 yards is definitely in play. So we will see what happens tomorrow in the game against the Chargers.
It's almost like a preseason game, really. I mean, everybody's
Yeah.
banged up. People are not going to play. I mean, it's in, you got backup quarterbacks playing each other. It's like, preseason, but with, the offense out there that they really want to play, not a generic version of it. So anything can happen tomorrow. I think I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if they drop 30, but maybe they will. It'd be interesting to see them do it for sure.
Yeah. Yes, most definitely.
All right. Well, you know what what you should do this weekend, if you don't do anything else, is go get yourself a Little Caesars pizza, right? It's football, it's pizza. Make Little Caesars the official pizza sponsor of the NFL, part of your game day. I mean, like I said before, it goes hand in hand. And you know what? It's New Year's Eve coming up. Why bother cooking? Get yourself a pizza. Order online during our Pizza pregame, 1 hour before and 3 hours after NFL kickoffs, plus all day Sunday. And get ready for football and fun.
Yes, choose your favorite Little Caesars pizza or pick the toppings that you all crave. Either way, you win. So on my pizza, I like pepperoni, bacon, sausage, a multitude of things. Kind of depends on my mood. And speaking of winning, hopefully the Broncos do win tomorrow. Everyone scores with convenient delivery or the in-store pizza portal pickup. So grab some friends, grab your family, and enjoy a few slices during the game. All right.
So you want to get
All right.
into
So I
some of
think,
our keys to victory,
yeah,
Ron?
let's get into some of
All
the
right, let's
keys
jump
to
into
victory in the matchups. So I'll let you go first. I'll let you kick it off. What do you have as your first key to victory?
Yeah, I mean it's really to attack deep. I know that the whole thing is, they're changing to Stidham, maybe get a little bit of that more timing passing, the quick throws kind of thing going. But the Chargers all season have been susceptible to a deep throw now and again. And they give up a higher completion percentage than the NFL average when you're going deep. They've given up 5 touchdowns, past that 20-yard mark. So I think if they really want to kind of blow this game open, is to hit a couple of those big explosive plays. Hopefully to Mims if he can go. If not, Brandon Johnson, get somebody the ball, get some explosive plays deep, and kind of open up this game. And that's going to help. That's going to help Stidham if he's not having to play from behind, or if it's close and he's got to pass more. Get some explosive plays going.
Good. That's a good one. And mine kind of ties into that. I'm going to go with kind of what I've seen somewhere in the preseason and when he was with the Raiders. What Stidham did well is attack the middle of the field. I think that's a big part. Oh, that's a big thing which we don't see from Russ. It's always that home run ball from Russell Wilson or holding onto the ball too long and getting into sacks. So with Stidham, I would like to see going through the progressions and getting the receivers involved. in space, attacking them deep in the middle, using the tight ends and throwing, when pressure's in his face, kind of off his back foot to the open of the field. So I would like to see just how the tight ends are used with Peyton offense and going through the progressions, how we can just attack deep. Because you're right, Thomas, the Chargers are susceptible to a lot of those, not only the deep ball, but some of those intermediate throws as well. So just kind of keep going and attacking them down the middle of the field.
Yep. Yeah. My next key is really to, you can't abandon the run at all. I mean, you've got to give Stidham some help. You've got to come out and establish some sort of semblance of running game. But really, like, I think they should go like attack behind Ben Powers. The Chargers have been susceptible to teams that can run right at them in the left guard area. Just attack that area of the field. Let Ben Powers see if he can earn his money, because he came in as a high priced free agent, so to speak, as a guard. Let's let him earn his money. Get out there, get that running game going. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to try and shoot for 200 yards or anything like that, but get out there, get that running game going. Give Stidham something else to kind of fall back on. Don't put all the pressure on him. You don't want the Broncos don't want Stidham to be the one that has to win this with his arm. I don't think. I mean, you've got to get other players involved. So that's my other key.
Yeah, and that's a great key, Thomas. And we'll get to the prediction last, but I wrote that up as well in the Mile High Roundtable. Is the running game definitely has to be a complement to Stidham. So the Broncos cannot deviate from that as well. But I do expect, I know Williams has been kind of struggling a bit, but maybe some McLaughlin and P. Ryan as well to kind of help as well. So my next victory or key to victory is win the turnover battle. At least be +2 in the turnover battle. We've seen on that 5-game winning streak kind of what the turnovers yielded. They yielded wins. And of course, with the turnover battle, they were able to start or have great starting field position. So I'm pretty sure with Easton Stick and this offense, the defense should be able to be aggressive, be opportunistic, and get a few turnovers for this offense to help and score. So yeah, I would hope that would happen. Justin Simmons, Patrick Surtain, those folks come. But I don't know. I think Simmons was he on that report? I think he was maybe questionable as well.
Simmons was, and he with an illness, but he was a full participant on Friday, so he should be good to go. So yeah, apparently a flu's going around. So
yeah.
I'm going to give Mike Edel. Thank you so much for the super chat.
You, Mike.
Appreciate you coming in, Mike. Saying, hey guys, very interesting spot the Broncos are in. What if Stidham tears it up? Chris Sims was talking about how Russ has been limiting the Sean Payton offense. I always go back to how negative his former teammates are towards Russ. Well, I mean, this is going to, depending on how the offense goes, right, on Sunday, it could validate what he's doing or not. That's the thing, and not long term, but a short term validation. I don't think Stidham's the answer for the long term. I don't think Sean Payton thinks he is, but Sean Payton went out and got him. He paid him good money to be the backup, and we'll see if it's Russell Wilson limiting the offense or if there's something else involved, right? Because if Stidham can go out there and run this offense really efficiently and do things that Russell Wilson couldn't do, then, Sean Payton will be validated. Whether or not people like Russ is kind of irrelevant, really. I mean, because if he was winning, when he was winning, people were all talking about how great he was. And now that he's benched and, people who were bad mouthing him last year are now here, defending him. So you never know what the truth is or not. I find it hard to believe that people don't like Russell Wilson because he seems like a positive person, but that can rub people the wrong way too. And, he's kind of a superstar and, that kind of thing, maybe that rubs people the wrong way. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I've heard people say that he wasn't good in the locker room last year. I don't know what it is, but it will be. I'm just saying. I don't think Stidham will tear it up. I think Sean Payton's going to try and showcase Stidham. He's going to go out there. He might force some things just to say, okay, see, this was the right thing to do. Stidham gave us a spark, and that's what I wanted. We'll see if that works. But I just know, what I see from Sean Payton. He seems like he has an ego, right? I mean, there's no doubting that, and he's going to go out there and try and prove that his decision was right, regardless of what the reason was.
Yes. Thank you, Mike, again, for coming in with your generosity. Much appreciated. And tomorrow we will see if Sean Payton was right or if Sean Payton was wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say Stidham will tear it up. I think what I'm looking for is to see how in command Stidham is of this offense, how efficient he is. Does he go through his reads? Can he see the field? We're just kind of looking for some of those fundamental quarterback traits when it comes to sitting in the pocket and just surveying the field. And again, we saw some of that in the preseason, and some good, some bad. But as a full-time starter now, we will see what happens tomorrow. Now, from the Chris Sims comment, I think that's kind of, again, I think performance is a part of that reason that goes into the benching. Because when you break down the tape of some of Russell's limitations, they're right there on full display, Thomas. Like holding on to the ball way too long, getting into some of these sacks, not surveying the field. So, that is providing some sort of limitation on how Sean Payton runs this offense. But again, we will see what happens tomorrow as Stidham has a better command of that. And as far as your last comment here with the negativity for the former teammates, I think a lot of that is driven by the special privileges and kind of what the coaches wanted and favored Russ. We saw that in Seattle for sure, in the sense, think about that last Super Bowl in Seattle, what they went against the New England Patriots. And, that last play where they were wanting Russ to kind of be the hero. They threw the ball and it got picked. And then, of course, his first year in Denver, he got all these special privileges, his own offense and his own office. And then he was more in control of kind of what he wanted offensively. So I think a lot of the negativity and some of the blowback and criticism comes from some of these special privileges that Russ was afforded. But again, we will see what happens tomorrow. Russ is a good guy. I just think what has happened with the privileges have kind of, rubbed some people the wrong way. And you see a lot of the criticism and the negativity from the former teammates. All right, Thomas, we want to get into a few of the marquee matchups. Oh,
yeah, I'm going to grab Naj here. Naj is coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, Naj. I appreciate you being here. As always, it's great to chat with you in the live chat. Says, hey, brothers, I don't know what will happen, but the multiple team captains throwing shade at Payton sure doesn't feel as though players like him. For me, hope for the direction. For me, feels like hope for the direction of the team is lost for now. Well, yeah, I don't know what to make of this team. They were winning and they seem to have bought into this winning mentality. And then they go just throw a stinker against the Patriots at home. It's weird. And the thing of it is, and I didn't see all of the sideline interactions, but if you watch that mic'd up with Russell Wilson, right, it didn't seem like there was much enthusiasm in any of the sidelines. In fact, even when they tied it up, right, when they ran, got that 2-point conversion, the only player that seemed hyped besides Russell Wilson about it was Miners. Everybody else seemed really flat. So I don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem like this team is excited to play. They don't seem like they've got enthusiasm for some reason. And maybe this change at quarterback will bring some enthusiasm. But I don't know. I mean, Sean Payton, you don't have to like your head coach. The players don't have to like him, but they have to win. If the coach is not a very nice person but is winning, that nobody cares. I mean, Belichick's never been really a great person, but they were winning Super Bowls and everybody was fine with it. Now that he is struggling to win, people are like, yeah, we don't really care for him. So let's move him on down the road and get somebody different. So I think the ills will be cured by winning, but I don't know if this team has it in them anymore. They seem discombobulated.
Yes, thank you, Naj, for coming in with your generosity. Much appreciated, my man. And yeah, the players don't have to like the head coach. Sean Payton has been known to be very cutthroat, very aggressive. Very he has expectations, lofty expectations. He's hard on his players, and Thomas, this team needs that. I mean, think about what has happened with the previous coaching staffs. With Nathaniel Hackett, he wanted to be the likable guy. Everyone, he wanted to be, he was very he wasn't aggressive at all. He wanted to kind of have Russ do his own thing. And we saw where that got this team. So having someone in the building to have people take accountability, I think is a breath of fresh air. This team needs that. And I think, again, this season it's a little rough just because Sean Payton already came into this situation. So there really wasn't much he can do in his honeymoon season. But now you're seeing, Sean Payton kind of trying to form the team in his own vision. And if you ask me the question of who do I trust, Russ Wilson or Sean Payton, I would definitely say Sean Payton. I trust more with the direction of this team. Now, it's very interesting that, and you mentioned this, Thomas, that, over that winning streak, everyone was loving it. The Broncos were winning and there was a lot of excitement. But I think after that Houston loss, I think for me, is when the team kind of started to not really be engaged and into the game. And I think that trickled down to what we saw with the Detroit Lions and definitely on Christmas Eve. So I'm hoping that with this change in quarterback and kind of the philosophy of Sean Payton, that the direction will change. But, people may not like it, but this is Sean Payton's team now. And so it's going to go his way.
I find it interesting, though, when he was talking about making the change, regardless of what it was for, it doesn't matter. But one of the comments was, I can't change 5 offensive linemen. I can't change 5 wide receivers. It's like, well, now you're saying that you wish you could, right? That's how it can be perceived that, well, we just really need to change this entire team around because it's all not very good, but we can do the quarterback right now. And that was a bit of a surprise to me for him to say that. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think there's a high level of talent on this team. They were winning, but when they go up against a talented team, it definitely shows. So, he's probably right. They do need to change some stuff. And maybe he was just saying that because he's like, trying to pass off, hey, I can't change everything. I can only change one thing right now. And, whatever, but still, that's a weird message to send. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, over the next couple weeks to see if this team responds. I mean, that's what you're going to have to see. Will this team respond differently now that Russell Wilson is benched? And if you don't like him, fine. I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll see if this sparks something in the team, not just in the offense, but in the team in general. Because right now there's some big question marks that need to be answered going forward.
Yes, most definitely.
We got Lawrence coming in from Facebook. Thank you so much for the Facebook stars, the support. Appreciate it, Lawrence. Says, what up, guys? I think the whole team quit, and it was sad because we were still in contention. Sean needs a boss. He's unprofessional this year. Well, he is the boss. I mean, when it comes down to it, they paid him to be the guy. But you're right. It did seem like they quit. Because like I said, when I was watching that mic'd up, and again, you only see a piece of it, right? You only see parts of it, but they just didn't seem enthusiastic. Even when they tied the game up, there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm on the sideline or anything, which kind of tells me that the team really is kind of checked out almost. I don't know. It seems strange. And to get beat by a banged up New England Patriots team at home, that's a hard pill to swallow, right? For fans and for the team itself. I mean, something isn't working. It's just not. And you can put blame on one person, the quarterback, but I think there's more issues with this team than a single quarterback.
Well said, Thomas. Again, thank you, Lawrence, for coming in. And you're right. I said it. The whole team just looked, like I said, they quit. They looked disengaged. That whole game they did. When they were making the comeback, no one seemed excited. No one seemed happy that they were even still in the game. They thought that they were just already out of contention. you would think that looking at their faces. So, I don't know what to say for this team moving forward. I think also that, and to your point, Thomas, the winning streak and the turnovers on defense kind of really masked the talent deficiencies on this team. We saw that there's still a long way to go for Denver, guys. The team still can't stop the run. Offensively, sometimes the receivers just can't get open. And again, we're hoping with this new change at quarterback that the offense can look a little better. But I think outside of this, the team really going to have to make some tough decisions and see what they can do, on a lot of different positions on both sides of the ball. Just because I don't know if the talent level is there for this team right now to even make the playoffs, let alone contend for anything. So that'll be interesting to see what Sean Payton does, in the offseason and moving forward.
Yeah, and part of the problem too the running game has not been efficient or very. They've kind of grind out some yards, but it's not enough really to really make the defense honest at all, really, and that's hurt them. Their defensive, defense against the rush has been bad. I mean, there's a lot of issues that are going on, and like I said earlier, winning cures it all, right? Like if they can start winning, then it doesn't matter if he's unprofessional or whatever. Winning, it seemed like there was a renewed enthusiasm when they started doing, in that win streak. It seems to be gone at this point. It seems to be completely gone. And you'll see tomorrow if players are checked out. You'll see if they're not mentally prepared to play. And, if they're making mental mistakes, if they look sloppy, you'll tell that they're like, okay, we're ready for the season to be over. And there was a lot of drama this year, really. I mean, 1-5, and then, you had this win streak, and then it's all, this whole thing with Russell Wilson. I mean, there's been some drama going on. So maybe they are ready to just say, you know what, let's get ready for next year. But there's going to be a lot of players that are on this team that aren't here. And I think they know it. Mm-hmm. I think they're with this, knowing that Russell Wilson is going to be gone and his dead cap hit over the next 2 years, there are going to be some players that are no longer on this team, and players who are, like Garrett Bowles possibly could be gone, like players like that. So they know they're not going to be on the team next year because they're going to have to make some major deep cuts in order to get under the cap. So, that plays into it too. I don't know. It's going to, like I said, we're going to find out a lot more on Sunday, a lot more about the makeup of this team.
Yes. Well said. And thank you, Lawrence, again for coming in. So I know we only have a little bit of time left, Thomas, but let's get to some of the players to watch.
All right.
For this game.
Well, for me, I mean, Bowles is one to watch. He's gonna go up against Khalil Mack most likely for most of the game, I would imagine. McGlinchey as well, because if he flips over there. But again, you got to remember Mac is what, 33% of all their sacks this year, and he hasn't had any in like 3 games, right? So he's a streaky player. You do not want him to get going because you don't want to have Khalil Mack have 3 sacks on the game, to get him going. So I think it's highly important for Bowles and McGlinchey, for that matter, to really do a job against him and keep him inconsistent, but not in the favorable side.
Nice. Cool. Great. Mine is Jared Stidham. Surprisingly. I would say, we've heard, from players, from Davis Webb, just how good of a mind Jared Stidham is when it comes to the meetings in the room, kind of breaking down film, knowing specific plays, reading defenses. I just want to see it on the field. I want to see how, again, it's going to be contingent upon how he goes through his progressions, how he can read those defenses, be efficient, attack the middle of the field, attack deep, know his checks. I just want to see him take command of this offense. Again, I'm not expecting 30, 40 points. I don't think any of us are expecting 3-4 touchdowns, 300 or 400 yards, but can he just take command of the offense, not hold on to the ball too long, not run into sacks? What does the offense look like under Stidham? So those will be things that I look at tomorrow when it comes to his play.
Yeah. And I'm going to grab Naj again. He came in saying, Thomas, if they check out, we'll lose by 3 TDs tomorrow. You're right. It'll be ugly. It'll be ugly. If that happens, then what? Where do we go from there? Well, most likely you're going to see a pretty big turnover in this team, and you're going to see a lot of rookies, right? They're going to have to get younger. They're going to have to, they're not going to be able to spend money in free agency like they did. They're going to need to get younger at key spots. So you're going to see the following year a large turnover in players. You'll probably, if they give up and that's it, like you see that they're done, you're going to see a bigger turnover than you could imagine going next year. Because Sean Payton's sticking around. That's all there is to it. He's here. He's in charge of turning this thing around, becoming a winning franchise again. They paid him to do it. They gave up a lot of draft choices to do it. You're going to see George Payton gone. You probably see Vance Joseph gone. Mm-hmm. You're going to see a turnover much larger than you would see if they actually win these next 2 games. And they're just going to try and get under the cap, so to speak. But if they give up, you're going to see a big turnover. You're going to see a lot of players traded or let loose altogether.
Perfectly said. Thank you, Naj. Yep, it's if they are disengaged, if they're checked out, it's on to 2024. You may see some, rookies, some of their second, third string on the field, possibly to kind of see what that looks like. But yeah, in the 2024 and the off season, a lot of players are going to be, cut, traded. They may try to, look in free agency to acquire more and look at some draft picks. But yeah, it's going to definitely be a big turnaround when it comes to the offense and defense. Because Peyton isn't going anywhere. You're right, Thomas. Peyton's here to stay. And again, he was afforded the right to build this team in his vision. And right now, the way this team is constructed, he can't build a winning culture. So the best way to do it is to just start anew. Start anew. So yeah, I'll definitely see the shift to the 2024 season happening if the Broncos are checked out tomorrow.
And thanks for coming back in, Mike, with the support. Really appreciate it. Mike Eddles says, wanted to come back in and say, great show. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mike.
Also have a question. If Russ counts as dead cap money, how much are we saving by releasing him as opposed to sitting him? Go Broncos, go orange and blue view. Well, it depends, right? If they designate his release after June 1st, they'll split up that dead cap hit. If they don't, it's all going to come in 2024, which is like 87 million or something. It's like a lot. So if they do it that way, you're going to have to see a complete cleaning house of anybody with a sizable contract to get, because they're already projected to be about 20 million, 15 to 20 million over the cap as it is. So they probably can't do that. If they designate it for June 1st, I think that first year dead cap hit will be the same as pretty close to the same as if he played. If he was on the team and was going to play or whatever. So you still got to do some maneuvering with the cap, but then they push that rest of that money into 2025, which is not bad. It's still a big chunk of change. But you can spread it out over 2 years and they'll have more cap relief in that second year. So that won't be as impactful. But yeah, if they release him and they don't do a post, designate it to after June 1st, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to manage that cap. You're going to see a lot of restructures. You're going to see a lot of people gone, a lot of trades. Yeah. Thank you for that, Mike. Appreciate it. I don't know the exact numbers. I can look them up, but I think the splitting it up is like 37 million, which is about what he would be. And then the rest of that is going to be into 2025. So split up 85 or 87 million, whatever it is. So it's going to be tough. It's not an easy one. And then the problem really is you still have 2 years of cap tied up in the quarterback position for a person that's not even on your team. So when you think about, we'll get a young quarterback and we can build the team around them. Well, that's not going to happen until 2026 because you've still got all this money tied up in the quarterback position. You don't have that cap relief of a young rookie that's coming in. So what you're going to see is you're probably going to see Stidham as your guy next year, even though he's probably not good enough to really be a starter, and a rookie quarterback, not first rounder, maybe a first rounder, but that's they're probably going to be forced to do that because if they try and go out and get another quarterback, you got $5 million that you're paying Stidham. You got $37 million that you're paying Russ, who isn't even here. And then you're going to go out and get another free agent quarterback, which is going to probably be $10 million. That's a lot of cap tied up in the quarterback position for, not having a franchise guy.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got another player to watch?
Yeah. I've got Javonte Williams. I mean, he's been a watch guy for me all year pretty much because he just can't get it going. Yeah. He needs to get something going. If the Broncos are going to win this game, they're going to need to rely on their running game a little bit more. I think it would be foolish to just unleash Stidham and just like, okay, you're going to go win this game. You're going to have to run the ball. Javonte Williams needs to have a solid game. Doesn't have to have a huge game, but he has to have a solid game this game.
Yes, I agree. It's been tough for him this year, just getting going, like just breaking those runs. So hopefully he can get it going this game. My player to watch, Zach Allen. We need someone to just shine on the D line. It's Zach Allen's time. Again, we've seen moments from Zach Allen this year, kind of later on the season, where he was a disruptive force. But with the injuries on this offensive line, they've struggled. The Chargers offensive line, they've struggled at the right tackle position and inside in the interior. So with that, Zach Allen can definitely affect the game. So I'm looking for him to just kind of break out, maybe have a few sacks inside, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, Zach Allen's my player to watch.
Mine's Jonathan Cooper. He needs to get some pressure. He's going to go up against Trey Pipkins most of the game, but he's got to apply pressure. Browning's going to be out. Benito's coming back from injury. Cooper is really the guy that has to get some pressure on Easton Stick from my perspective, from the edge. You can get Zach Allen coming up the middle, but you really need to get that edge rusher going. And it really is going to kind of fall on Jonathan Cooper. Unless Benito is like fully healthy and ready to get back into it. He's still on, listed on the injury report, full participant, but he still had that knee problem. So he missed some time. So I think Cooper really needs to step up. And I like Cooper. I think, and I saw Mile High Huddle tweeted out that this will be, if he can get another sack, he'll have the most sacks since Carl Mecklenburg of any drafted player that was drafted a 7th rounder or later. So it'll be fun to see that happen. So that's a long time ago. Carl Mecklenburg is now in the senior pool for the Hall of Fame, entry. So it's been a while since a late round pick has stepped up that large.
Yeah, nice. And my last player to watch, PJ Locke. I want to see, now that he is the starting safety, no more Kareem Jackson. Wanting to just see him with the safety blitzes. I would like to see Vance Joseph deploy those, and how he matches up with some of their wide receivers and their tight end. I know Gerald Everett of the Chargers is pretty capable, and Quentin Johnson as well. So just kind of seeing some of those matchups with him, and then the safety blitzes, and if he can maybe come up with a pick or two. But PJ Locke has been, for the most part, great this year, and hopefully he can continue that through this game and with the Raiders game as well.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've loved PJ Locke's game all year, all season. He's had a couple rough ones, but for the most part, he has vastly exceeded my expectations, because for me, he was the third guy off of the bench. You got Simmons and Stearns were the starters. Then it was Kareem Jackson who was coming in. And now you've got, fourth guy is what I should say, off really come in. But he's outplayed all of them from my perspective. I think he's outplayed every safety on this team, including Justin Simmons this year. I think he's played better than Justin Simmons. I should say more impactful than Justin Simmons has been in a lot of games. So I'm like blown away with how good he's been. It's been fun to watch, and someone that wasn't given much of an opportunity and came in and made something of it. So kudos to him. I hope he has a bright future in the NFL for sure. All right, we are getting closer and closer to in this show. So I'm just going to quickly go over the injury report, and then we'll hit our stats predictions, and then we'll hit our other predictions. If there's no other comments that we want to jump on that come in. So, but what we've got for sure is Baron Browning is out. Dulcich is still out. I don't know if he'll play the rest of the season. I don't know. Sutton is out. He's dealing with that concussion, so he's out. And Alex Pelcheski, who came off IR, he's a full participant, but they're not gonna. They've listed him as out. They don't have to really do anything, I don't think, with him until next week. Then they got to make a decision of whether they're gonna, activate him or not. And then from that, there's some questionable players, like Jerry Jeudy's questionable because he's sick, and Marvin Mims had a hamstring injury. He's questionable. There's a lot of injuries going on or sicknesses going around on this team. So that might be the first time that they're really, really banged up going into a game, because they've been relatively healthy for the most part this late in the season. And this one's finally coming back to bite them. Now, my first stats projection is for Javonte Williams. I don't think he's having a huge game, but I think he's going to be an efficient 15 carries, 75 yards, no touchdowns.
Nice. Okay, great. My first is Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy's going to have 10 receptions on 12 targets. He's going to break that 100-yard receiving mark this time around, 120 yards. Yeah, and a touchdown. And I believe someone early in the chat had him for plus 100 and 2 touchdowns. So I think we're speaking the same language here when it comes to feature Jerry Jeudy often.
Yeah, and I'm going to grab. I'm sorry, I've been kind of missing the Facebook chat here with Facebook stars, but Keith Brugman's here. Thank you for being here, Keith. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support through Facebook. Thomas and Ron, does Peyton call this game similar to what he's been all season with Russ? And if not, what is the fallout? Hey, that's interesting, because I was thinking about this earlier today, Keith. I was like, is he going to let his ego kind of override better judgment and like just say, you know what, we're going to do something different, and I'm going to show everybody that Russell Wilson couldn't run this offense, but Stidham can, so we're going to showcase him differently? Or is he going to stick to what they've been practicing all year and do that instead? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. That's one of the things I was thinking about, Keith, today, and thinking about watching that tomorrow, is what is he actually going to do? What is the game plan plan going to be? And is it going to be quite a bit different? Now, it may look a little bit different because, apparently Stidham can see this middle of the field and is going to be able to get the ball out quicker. We'll see if that's the truth or not, but you may see a bit different targeting, but is his actual overall game plan going to be different, which will be interesting. And will he, I still, like I said earlier in the show, Sean Payton seems to have an ego. Is he going to try and prove everybody that in this game that Stidham was the right choice to go with? So that it's a good question. Thank you for that, Keith.
Yes, thank you, Keith. This is a great question. And when that announcement was made that they were returning to Stidham, I was thinking that as well of what if, will the offense look different? Will there be more emphasis on, running versus throwing? How does all that factor in? A lot of thoughts came to mind. And I again, this is kind of just what I'm thinking. I do think they're going to be more pass plays, more plays down the field, in the middle of the field. Again, that does cater to the strengths of them. So I wouldn't say they're going to be a lot of deep bombs, but a lot of those quick intermediate passes to tighten in some of those wide receivers. I can see a higher percentage of those. But it is going to be interesting to kind of see again with some of those running plays, because I believe the running game still has to be executed as well. But it'll be interesting just to see how he does it. If it's going to be vastly different to kind of prove his point. I don't know, but I'm looking forward just to see again what Stidham can provide for this offense.
Now, my next player that I'm going to project stats for is Brandon Johnson, because depending on Judy's status, I mean, Brandon Johnson may be the guy that they have to target. So he's going to have an okay game. If Judy's out and Sutton's out, then you might see Brandon Johnson have an even bigger game. And Mims, if Mims is out as well. 6 catches for 50 yards in a normal circumstance. If Mims is out and Judy can't be healthy because he's sick, then you're going to see that yardage probably increase and targets increase quite a bit more. So that's who I'm going with next. And now you're up.
Oh, all right, good one. My next, Jaleel McLaughlin, 5 rushes for 40 yards, and I do have him hitting the end zone once as well.
All right, now I've got Stidham. So Stidham's my projection, just because he's the quarterback. It's going to be hard to say, right? I think he's going to have an okay game. I don't think he's the savior of this team. I think he's going to go like 21 of 35. 250 yards maybe, and a touchdown and an interception. So nothing that's going to make everybody go, oh, wow, he's awesome. But, and they're going to try and showcase him a little bit, make it to seem like he's the right decision, and they're going to let him pass a little bit more than I would really want him to. So that's my guy.
Nice. Yeah, you're right. I don't think it's going to be a mind-blowing game for Stidham. But again, all we're looking for is just to see if he can command the offense, be efficient. So that I would say that's a pretty reasonable stat line for him. And then my last is Will Lutz. So Will Lutz will have 1 field goal in that 50-plus range, and then also 3 made extra points. So he will account for 6 points for your Broncos.
Right on. All right. Well, we are winding down. We are 3 minutes away till the top of the hour, and I'm going to give my score prediction. You can also go to milehighhuddle.com and you can see all the writers' predictions. So they're out there and our reasoning for it. But for me, it's I have the Chargers winning 23-17, because I just feel like the Broncos are kind of a mess right now. And that Patriots game really, really kind of took the wind out of me when it came to them knowing how to win, because they obviously don't. So it's a bit of a turmoil. I know the Chargers are banged up with a backup quarterback. We're going to watch backup versus backup. I just feel like the Broncos are a bit of a mess, and I just don't know how to take them.
Okay. So one for the Chargers. All righty. Interested to see what the chat thinks of that prediction, Thomas. So I would say, I would say for me, both teams are bad. Let's face it. It's the Broncos now are coming away with injuries, and the Chargers are even more injured as well. So having said that, I think with the new life under center, Stidham will start to make some of the plays that we were begging Russ to make. You can expect more passes down the middle of the field with that solid ground game. And with that, I do think that the Broncos defense will get back to form of at least 2 takeaways and pressuring stick enough. And in the end, the Broncos will win. So I have a score of Broncos 24, Chargers 14.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so much for coming in tonight and being here with us. Thank you for the support. Don't forget to check out the other podcasts. There's plenty of good ones out there. We will be back next weekend, next Saturday, with our same show for the final game. Probably, I don't know, Ron. I don't really have much hope for them getting into the playoffs at this point. I mean, technically, they're still alive. They'd have to win out. So that this might be our the second to last pregame show, but we will be back next week. So thank you very much for coming in, Ron. Anything you want to say to the folks in the chat before we sign off?
Yeah. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in and coming in with all of your questions and comments and support. Much appreciated. Enjoy the game tomorrow, regardless of the result. We got Kevin Gray coming here with a prediction. Broncos 24, Chargers 17. Good. Thank you, Kevin. We'll see if that happens tomorrow. Another one from Rodney, 16-14 Chargers win. Okay. Again, regardless of the result, just enjoy the game. With all the drama that has happened in the Mile High City, we still do have football tomorrow, and hopefully that the Broncos can at least finish strong and get a winning record at the end of the season. So that's all that the fans can hope for.
Well, let's hope they do. Let's hope that the winning record happens. It's going to be, I don't know. At this point, it's all up in the air. I was a little more confident a couple weeks ago, not so much anymore. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great, wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year, and ring in 2024, and hopefully it's a much better year for the Broncos coming up. So thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Go Broncos. Thanks.